I'm here. Coffee's here. The cat's here. You're here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh. If I don't go back to bed first. All right. In three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Friday. Yes. April 9th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Courtesy of you. Thanks. Come on. I know you're going to sit on my lap. Uber. Well, I hope you're well. I hope you had a good Thursday. I hope you were happy and productive and whatever, right? Found some good stuff in there. I am slowly figuring out how to move forward with this life, with this new reality. Did some work yesterday. Honestly, not a lot. And that was good. I needed some time. I needed to relax. I'm unclear if I'm going to do that again today. I probably did a total of 2 hours of work yesterday. That was it. I got done the things that absolutely needed to get done. And so the question right now is how today goes. I did a little bit on the next book yesterday. And we'll probably do a little bit more today. We'll have to see. I laid it out. I set out what the opening sections needed to be, added just kind of some formatting to the document. I don't think I spent more than 15 minutes on it. But it's what I felt I could do. And so now I'll do a little bit more and a little bit more and just chip away at it because that's what I can handle. You do what you can do with what you have where you're at, right? You might want to do more. You might want to have more. You might want to be somewhere else, but you got to work with reality. And the reality is, volume-wise, I can't handle nearly as much as I have been. Not for now. Maybe, who knows? Who knows when this changes? I think I'm better than I was yesterday, so maybe next week? I don't know. What's going on? What did I do yesterday? Worked on a couple projects around the house. Email. I think I shaved. Was that yesterday? I think I shaved my neck. Or maybe that was Wednesday night. Time is really blurry for me. I don't know. Oh man. I can only imagine what this is like for other people to watch. I have always said I would show up to this show authentically, that I would be real, I would be myself, and every day is not going to be great. Every day is not going to be perfect. Real life has bumps and bruises and scars, and I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. I have learned from being on the other end that when people in my circles are open about the challenges they face, it can be helpful to me. If I'm going through something, it helps to know that I'm not alone in that. And so that's, I guess, part of my motivation here. You might be going through something. You might have some challenge, something that you're struggling with. And if that's the case, you're not alone. It's not just me. We're all struggling with stuff. What's that quote? Be kind because everyone you meet's fighting a battle that you don't know about. That one? That was your hair. Life is rough sometimes. What is this on my mug? No, who knows? I think I'll take a look at what I got to work on today and make a decision from there. What do I want to do? There are some things that do well when I work from home, other things that I can do when I work remotely. The last few weeks when I've gone to the co-working space, the whole reason I go to the co-working space is really it's to get out of the house and to connect with other people. And I don't know if I'm ready to connect with anyone. I've been engaging with friends, people that I know, and those conversations have been difficult. But when people ask you, how are you? How has your week been? Which they ask you. Am I supposed to lie? Or am I supposed to be honest and give them really heavy stuff? Hey, you barely remember my name, but my father passed away on Sunday. So that's what I'm going through. How's your week been? Right? Like that conversation just doesn't feel appropriate. It's the reality, but I also don't want to lie. I don't want to say, oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. It's been a good week. Because that's all BS. It's not true. And so the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, you know what? I'll just stay home. And I'll go next week. And that way, when someone asks me, how's your week been? I'm sure next week will be better. Holy crap, if it's not better, I'm going to lose my mind. So we're going to bank on the fact that it's going to be better. Better's always around the corner. Right? Well, I feel myself kind of drifting off. So that's the point where I'm going to see what you gave me to talk about. What is happening here? Hey, remember, if you want to give me things to distract me from my personal emotional pain or at any other time, you leave them in the comment section below, and then I talk about them. All right, we got some stuff from Frank. As always, thank you, Frank. Yeah. Boom, there we go. I did get a few phone calls from people over the last few days that I have not returned. Please don't be offended. I am getting absolutely bombarded by people checking on me, and ironically, responding to those is overwhelming. So the sentiment is there. I appreciate it, but I'm probably not going to be able to call everyone back. Not immediately. All right, and so what do we got today? We've got some jokes. Let's start with the jokes. Tomorrow, Saturday, is Golfer's Day. What's the difference between a golfer and a fisherman? When a golfer lies, he doesn't have to bring anything home to prove it. I've never played golf. I've played mini golf. I've been to a driving range, which, surprisingly, having never hit a golf ball far. Actually, that's not true. The second time. So let's see. I was at a martial arts event where there was a fundraiser and it was like closest to the pin. It wasn't at a golf course, but basically I got to hit a golf ball with a club, but I wasn't like fully teed off, like driving as hard as I could. It was more of a chip shot. And I did okay for someone who really didn't know anything about golf. And then a couple years ago was at a driving range ironically enough, for a work thing with a client. And I did all right for not knowing how to play golf. I made contact with the ball much more often than I would have expected. I find golf interesting, and I would be open to playing it, aside from the ridiculous clothes, some of the other conventions involved in golf, and I think there's too many clubs. I'd rather like just walk the course with like 2 clubs and a bucket and a basket handful, whatever, however many golf balls you need, like in a backpack. Like I'd rather just do that. That would be my style of golf. I would play that. But Jeremy, where would you put the beer? Because apparently drinking is a big part of golf. I don't know. I'd let somebody drive around, bring me the beer. Why do golfers hate cake? Because they might get a slice. When is it too wet to play golf? When your golf cart capsizes. What is a golfer's favorite bird? Any birdie will do. Golf is a lot like taxes. You go for the green and come out in the hole. How many golfers does it take to change a light bulb? 4. Why do golfers always carry a spare pair of trousers with them? In case they get a hole in one. The man who takes up golf to get his mind off his work soon takes up work to get his mind off golf. It's a golfer's worst nightmare. The bogeyman. Where can you find a golfer on Saturday night? Clubbing. What's a golfer's favorite dance move? The bogey. I once played a course that was so tough, I lost 2 balls in the ball washer. Why did Tarzan spend so much time at the golf course? He was perfecting his swing. Oh, Frank's given us like a bunch of them here today. All right, I'm going to do 2 more. He generally does this when he knows I'm having a rough go. So thank you, Frank. I'll read the rest of them later solo. Why didn't the golfer get his homework done? He was puttering around. And then, what are the primary components of a golfer's diet? A lot of greens and water. Good stuff. Thank you, Frank. Frank's not the only one that can contribute jokes. I think you're going to have a hard time besting him, but Funday Friday, you are welcome to contribute jokes. Today is Winston Churchill Day. When I think about Winston Churchill, one of the things that I think is really important to remember is the time in which he lived and was prominent. He was prominent through World War II. And how was everyone receiving their information? It was primarily radio. And if you ever listen to Winston Churchill's voice, there's a resonance, there's a component to it that I think exhibits a lot of strength. And I suspect that was a big part of him being elected and being trusted. And I think on some level, I think we could say contributed to England's persistence in the war. If I remember my World War II history correctly, Germany wasn't that far from defeating England. Remember, they were bombing London. So, keep that in mind. All right. A nation that fails to honor its heroes soon will have no heroes to honor. When we think about heroes in martial arts, what is heroic? I think heroic in general is someone who goes above and beyond at personal sacrifice, not knowing that the outcome, not knowing what the outcome will be, not knowing that it's guaranteed. There are a lot of positions in society that we hold up as being heroic, and they're admirable, they're respectable, they're honorable, but they're not heroic. And I'm not going to name specifics because that'll just get people all riled up, but you can probably guess some of the ones that I would say. A hero didn't have to do what they did. A hero wouldn't have been criticized for not doing the thing that they did. Where are you going? She's a goober. So if we take that into martial arts, it doesn't leave a lot of capacity to be a hero, right? Can a martial arts instructor be a hero? They can, but teaching martial arts isn't heroic. What about training? Where's the heroics there? I don't think there is. The idea of being a hero is so subjective that I don't know that we can actually say much in this. But I'd like you to think about it. What is your definition of a hero? Is it something that we can extend into martial arts? And if so, I would love to hear it. Whether you comment below or maybe you reach out to me directly. Maybe I'll take a nap. Who am I kidding? When was the last time I took a nap? There was a point in my life a couple of years ago where I was taking a nap almost every day. It was wonderful. 20-minute nap around lunchtime, it made everything so much better. Maybe I should get back to that. Just to relax. Just to disconnect. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender. So there's a bit of a speech from that time, from that World War II German invasion time period. I'm assuming. I would be shocked if it was otherwise. And we are fortunate that we have never known. There are places, but I'm going to guess that no one watching or listening to this show has been confronted with a reality as grim as what Winston Churchill is telling the people of England in that quote, in that speech. And that's a good thing. And I hope that we never have to endure a time, an incident like that again. I suspect we will. Because we aren't beyond it as people. So it's just a roll of the dice. When's it going to happen? And I hope I'm not alive for it. I don't want to see that. All the great things are simple, and many can be expressed in a single word. Freedom, justice, honor, duty, mercy, hope. Let's just take the beginning of that quote. All the great things are simple. Think of the best martial arts techniques, movements. Think of the principles that are most fundamental, that are most universally applicable. What is the primary technique in martial arts? What is the thing that we think about the most, that shows up the most across styles, systems, regardless of the competitive aspect, self-defense? It's a punch. What is more simple than making a fist and hitting someone with it? Hammer fist, straight punch, back fist. I'm demonstrating on the camera for those of you listening. That's pretty basic. Would you want to have martial arts without punching? I wouldn't. I can punch you when you're here. You can get pretty close to me. I can still punch you. Might not be as powerful without being able to extend, but it still applies. It's still relevant. And I think when we look at anything, but specifically martial arts, because this is a martial arts show, the more basic, the simpler something is, not only is it easier to understand, which is why it's basic, which is why we teach it sooner, but it's more effective. And there's the irony that for so many of us, we spend this time looking for these fancy techniques, especially through our middle ranks. Oh, I learned this technique, I want to use it. I will spar you with, well, I'm not going to say I'm going to win, but just, you could say, hey, Jeremy, just spar with, I don't know, a punch and a side kick. Guess what? That's pretty much all I do now. And roundhouse kicks. That's about it. I barely even block. I just move. Right? The best techniques are the ones we learn first. In theory, we spend the most time practicing those because we learn them first. And they become the most useful. Or they are the most. They are always the most useful. A lot of us ignore that. We ignore those fundamental techniques because they're too simple. So what? When I train self-defense stuff, I'm always moving to the back because it's simple. If I'm behind you, you have a much harder time of hurting me. Parry, push, step, guard. Now I'm behind you. And I can do whatever I want. Pull you down by the back of your hair or nose or kick you in the back of the knee. Doesn't matter. It's all easy at that point. There's nothing wrong with simple. Why make things more complicated than they need to be? All the great things are simple. And our final quote for the day from Winston Churchill. And remember, leave me some stuff to talk about on Monday. Leave it in the comment section once the show closes. Excuse me. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. I think when we look back in however many years it's going to take, when we consider the impact of social media, one of the things that I think experts will talk about is that everyone having a platform to share their thoughts, while a good thing, has also cost us the ability to listen. Back when there were 3 channels on TV, when the news came on, and they had some attempt at being objective, if a story came on that you didn't like, or it was presented in a way that maybe you didn't enjoy, most of the time people would listen. They'd hear it, and they would at least consider, on some level, what was going on. Now, we watch channels, if we watch TV at all, or read websites, or follow personalities who, for the most part, already conform to what we believe. Our beliefs aren't challenged. And thus, we don't have to listen. We don't have to hear people say things that are difficult, which I think is really breaking down in society and breaking down society. And to me, what's ironic is while this is happening, we're starting to see the opposite within martial arts. People are far more open to alternatives and discussion and acknowledgments that there can be different ways. I put a video up yesterday. That was one of the things I did yesterday. I put up another video on the Jeremy Lesniak Martial Arts channel about a technique from Taekwondo called W block, which I have been taught is blocking 2 kicks. That seems silly. And you can watch the video, you can see all the things around it, why. I go into detail, what I think it really is. And when I recorded that, I was a little nervous. Because I'm coming through and saying, this is what I was taught, this is what most of us were taught, because this is the official description in the Encyclopedia of Taekwondo from General Choi. I disagree with it. But what I've been pleasantly surprised about is that I've received several comments on it. People saying, I like this, or I agree, or whatever. We're making some inroads there. I am really excited to see what martial arts looks like in 10, 20 years, because we're collaborating, we're sharing, we are understanding. We're making some things better, and it's really cool to watch. And I feel like I'm some small part of it. I'm in the mix. You're a part of it. We're all part of it. We're making a difference. And that's really exciting. I hope you have a good weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know there's a lot of planting of seeds involved. Some of my pepper seeds aren't coming up. I might have to go find some more. That's a bummer. Other than that, I'm planting seeds, and cleaning up the yard. I'll be outside. Be beautiful weather again. I hope you have a good day, good weekend. Hope you get some good stuff done. I hope you enjoy your time, and I hope you will consider some of the things that we talked about today. Be well. See you back here on Monday, bright and early. Take care, everybody. Peace.